There's not a week that goes by that we do not get questions from the fans of this show, as well as our coaching community members, where they need help with a CRM. What's the best CRM? How do I set up my CRM? What are people using CRMs for? Am I not closing enough business because I don't have a CRM? And the answer to all of those questions is going to be laced into today's episode. This will be a can't miss episode for anybody that is running a business where you are generating leads and building relationships and need a place to manage and market to those relationships as well as to those potential customers. Yet so many people overthink CRM. They think they know what they're talking about when really they don't, or they don't even realize that typically the best CRM is the one that you'll use. And for some of you, you're not even ready for a CRM. The CRM is not going to be what it actually is needed to make all your problems go away. But I will give you, if you were to build out a CRM, exactly what you need, what you don't need, what may be a distraction, and more specifically, what's something you can't miss or you can't do without. If CRM is topical to you, this episode was made just for you. Check this out. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children 18 plus, you are tuned in to the Loan Officer Podcast with me, Dustin Owen, and joining me from the TLOP team, I've got my right hand, the marketing machine himself, Mikey, Rocky, Vinny, and per usual, sitting in her normal spot, our producer extraordinaire. We call her Special K. You call her Karina Mojica. What's going on, Karina and Mike?
What's up?
Yeah, how y'all doing today?
Great.
How are you?
Yeah, rocking and rolling. We're gonna stay on the marketing theme.
I love it.
Like we talked a lot last episode or 2 episodes ago now on AEO, right? So
Yes.
that was answer engine optimization. It's the next wave of how you show up online.
Correct.
Today, we're going to jump into CRM.
Yes.
And there's nothing new about CRMs. I mean, I can go back to the early 2000s and we were working inside of ACT. I then can talk about how I moved over to Surefire. Then I dumped Surefire and went to Jungo. Jungo is one of many CRMs built on the Salesforce chassis, I call it.
Yeah.
You know, you have helped us a lot within HubSpot, although we're moving over to Go High Level right now.
Yep.
And there are so many other CRMs, whether it's our friends over at Adium, which is now Lendware. I mean, you and I have built out an entire LO platform within Lendware's base.
Yep.
Friends of ours use Monday.com. They use Rad CRM. And there's Total Expert, which is like the behemoth. What I'm going to tell you, and I'll share it with you right now, what CRM you use matters way less than how you use a CRM. Right?
That's heavy.
I mean, if you think about it, people always ask, what's the best CRM? And I tell them the one you'll use.
Yeah.
The CRM that you will
I agree.
actually use. Like you will spend the time to write the campaigns. You'll spend the time to set up the automations. You'll spend the time to API it to your LOS. You'll actually log in every single day, like day, and you'll work inside of it. That's going to be the best CRM. Like currently, if I'm a lender, I freaking love what Garrett Locklear is doing with Candid. Freaking love it. I have a great relationship with the guys over at Total Expert.
Yes.
Right? We've had an amazing relationship with the crew over at Lendware. I mean, it matters less which one.
Yeah.
But there are certain things that do matter. And there's certain things that are sexy, and I would hate to say they don't matter, but they're things that most people aren't quite ready for.
Okay.
So, right, and Mike, things that they're not ready for, the 5,000 data points that are going to use predictive analytics to go out and tell them which of their database of 1,000 past clients they should be prioritizing phone calls to and why.
Yes.
That shit right there is cool AF. Karina, do you know what AF stands for?
As fuck.
Oh,
wait. Always and forever.
Always
for the
and forever.
PG-13.
I was with Karina. Sorry, we'll boop that.
That's a dad joke that I love to. I've been using that way. I've been traveling the country now for the past 3 years. I think I've spoken. I counted the other day like 30 at 30 events over the past at the past 3 or 4 years, and an event, or not an event, a joke I always throw in is AF.
Hey, how can I book you, Dustin?
And then right, and then I'm always like, oh, AF stands for always and forever.
Yeah,
which it did. That was something that my kids and I started joking about when they were like middle school, high school age.
Yeah.
Because obviously we all know what AF stands for. But where do you book me?
Yeah, how do I book you?
You know what?
For a speaking engagement.
You know what's interesting about that, Mike? And I'm not even teeing you up to ask that, but this year alone, so I went up to Virginia, spoke for Town Bank.
Yeah,
I went out to Colorado, spoke for Megastar Financial. In Orlando, I spoke for Novus.
Yep.
I had a chance to speak and present on the Mortgage Con stage. Later this year, I'm going to be traveling up to Oklahoma to speak for the Oklahoma Mortgage Bankers Association. I've done countless webinars. Most recently, I did one for the Great Lakes Credit Union Real Estate Network.
I heard that went well.
Oh, yeah. Crushed it. Yeah. Absolutely crushed it.
Nice.
You know, I'm working with companies like AD Mortgage and Freedom Mortgage to do some virtual masterclasses for them.
Yeah.
So,
big time.
You know, when it comes to travel, yeah, look, if you wanted to book me, I only do about 10 to 12 like in-person events on an annual basis.
Yeah.
The good news is my next in-person isn't until September when I go to Oklahoma.
Yeah.
I don't know. Reach out to me. Email me, do@tlaponline.com or...
You go tlaponline.com, media inquiries too.
Oh, look at you go, Mr. Website Guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, or if my first name's Dustin, my last name is Owen. LinkedIn, I'm like crazy.
Yeah, you're big in LinkedIn.
Accessible.
Yeah.
But the AF joke is something that if you see me speak in public, I came to your event or you came to a conference like Sales Mastery or Mastermind Summit, there's a good chance I've probably laced an AF in there. And we always say always and forever. No, we're going to get in today's episode, all CRMs. I can already like feel the trolls on YouTube wanting to comment about how we just wasted 4 minutes of their time.
Yeah.
But before we get into the free content, let's go ahead and take a quick pause so we can pay some bills and we can hear from today's show sponsor.
Good idea.
Y'all, something big is happening at Lower Mortgage. And if you're paying attention to this industry, you've probably noticed. In just the last month alone, Lower has added some serious horsepower. We're talking top producers representing over $350 million in volume. These aren't rookies kicking tires. These are heavy hitters who've done their homework and made the move. That should tell you something. On top of that, Lower just acquired Movoto, a top 5 real estate portal with over 150 visitors just last year. Before that, they brought in Neat Labs and now they're launching Lower OS, a next-gen mortgage platform that's cutting loan delivery times down to 10 days. This isn't a company standing still. Lower doubled their volume last year and they're projecting another 40 to 50% growth this year. The best in the business are taking notice and they're voting with their feet. Here's the reality. The companies that are going to win in this market are the ones investing in technology, building real infrastructure, and competing at scale. Lower is doing all of that. They're going head to head with the Rockets of the world, and they're built for originators, not against them. If you're a producer who wants to be a part of something that's actually going somewhere, not just surviving, but growing, this is the moment. Lower Mortgage, the momentum is real. All right, so we're back. I want to kick this off, but I know when you get you and I together and we're talking about things like CRM.
We nerd out.
We can talk over each other, sometimes disagree.
Yeah.
We got to think, Mike and I got together for like every Sunday for 6 weeks when we were building out a CRM for our client, Lower Mortgage.
Yeah.
And what was interesting is I'm very specific with the copy and the timeline of the journey.
Yeah.
But when it comes to actually programming it,
Yeah.
or even writing it quickly and efficiently, no, we needed you.
Yeah.
Like I needed you
for the
inside,
workflow piece of it. Yeah.
Yes, doing the workflows, but even on the copy.
Yeah.
I would tell you what it's supposed to say, but then you could clean it up using all of your cool, fancy AI bots, right? That you probably spent 20, 30 minutes teaching them how to do their job. Then you took what I wanted to do and you put it in there.
Yeah. That was like ChatGPT 3.
Can I ask,
Yes.
what is a CRM? And
what does it stand for? Is that?
Yeah, what does it stand for? What does it do? What's the
Great question.
Like,
You
can
think
we
there's
start
people
with
out
the
there
basics?
that are wondering that? Karina's like,
You guys
hey,
jumped very.
yes.
I think they are. I think there are people.
Yeah. So I would tell you CRM stands for Client Relationship Manager.
And I say customer relationship management.
Okay.
Yeah, it just depends on, like, to me, clients are my realtors and customers are my borrowers.
Love it.
It's a place that I can store data and market to it. Like, that's essentially what my CRM is, a place I can store data and market to it. So many LOs, especially those that are newly licensed, want to come to me and like, oh, DO, I need a CRM. If I had a CRM, I'd be closing all these loans. And I'm like, no, you need leads and you need referral sources.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be closing a bunch of loans if you had leads and referral sources. So your first step isn't go out and buy a fancy CRM.
No.
Your first step is learn how to build relationships with people like real estate agents, home builders, financial advisors. Learn how to market to your circle of influence so that they see you as a subject matter expert, as a source of information.
The CRM holds and nurtures.
Can you
Your
operate
customers.
without a CRM?
Yes,
Yeah.
100% you can.
Yes.
Yes, in fact, your first CRM, my first CRM that worked amazing. This is the CRM that helped me go from 0 closings to 100 closings in 1 year.
Jeez.
Right? So I
Monster.
did 0 closings in 2003 because I was not in the business.
Yeah.
In 2004, I got in the business. It probably took me 6 months to close my first loan, and I probably closed 3 loans that entire year.
Yep.
By 2007, I probably funded 30 loans.
Yeah.
By 2008, I did 117 transactions.
Wow.
Okay. Here was my CRM, a spiral notepad and an Excel spreadsheet.
Wow, see? Okay.
That was all I needed. Now, was I tracking my numbers? Yes. Did I know my data? Yes. Was I following up with my leads and giving updates to my referral sources? Yes.
You must have been incredibly disciplined to work out of that many transactions in one notebook, and then knowing how to follow up and massage those.
There were
for the next 3
many
years.
missed opportunities, Mike.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, I was sending emails literally using a blind carbon copy. The worst
Yeah.
way you can send a newsletter or send a Friday market update would be I send it to Karina Mojica, I send it to myself, and then I blind carbon copy a list of like 50 or 60.
Yeah.
But I'm a big fan. I've lived it. Like, perfection's the enemy of done. Get that shit done.
Yeah.
Right? We first become effective, then we become efficient. So to answer your question, no, the very beginning of my career, a spiral notepad and an Excel spreadsheet is what I needed. To answer Mike's question, yes, I closed 117 transactions. I probably could have closed 136, right, had I been a little bit more dialed in. But what I demonstrated is I had the ability to create relationships that generated leads. Those leads became loans. Then I became a hot mess. So I became effective. Now I need to become efficient. I met my business partner, Mike Smalley, in 2008. And when I met Mike, he was already using a CRM and, more importantly, had a CRM administrator who we called an assistant. She was a sales assistant who worked in his office. So then when we partnered together, now all of a sudden my data was being uploaded by an intern. And back then, that CRM was ACT. For anyone who's been around the block, you know what it is.
Yeah. It's old
Right.
school.
We then transitioned out of ACT and into Surefire. But then when Surefire couldn't do everything that we needed and wanted it to do, we wanted something that was more Salesforce based. Well, in the mortgage industry, Jungo or Jungo, tomato, was what we went to. And then eventually we went off of Jungo and we started looking at Candid. But I was equally as effective with a spiral notepad as I was with ACT as I was with Surefire. What Surefire gave me was my first automation. See, when I was in ACT, I had no automation. And then what Jungo gave me was the opportunity to still be automated, but also to do prospect marketing. Because when I had the addition of Surefire back in the day, it was more in-process and post-closing marketing, but I had nothing for prospect.
What was your largest production year again?
Personal production?
Yeah, personal production.
144 units. But I always like to say, while managing 5 branches, because those 5 branches that year did 2,000 units, and then my 144 were a part of that 2,000.
Were you still notebook, or were you
No,
CRM?
no.
Yeah, that's where I'm like,
Notebook?
yeah, were you still writing things in a notebook?
My breakout year, the year that I was like, oh shit, I may be good at this, was my second full year in the business. So my first full year was 2005. My second full year is 2006. I did 117 transactions. Get this, y'all. They got like loan sizes for like 26 million.
Yeah.
And I averaged 55 basis points That's not because I worked as a builder's lender. It's not because I worked at a bank or a credit union where they fed me those leads. It's because that's what LOs made back then. I made $135,000 that year, and I'm going to promise you, I was rich AF. Right? Today, I have LOs that if they're not making 125 basis points, they feel like they're being ripped off. I'm like, ooh, you need some perspective. That's like a home buyer that's like, oh, 6.5% rates. I'm like, we were slinging 7.5% rates all through the 06, 07, 08 time frame.
Yeah.
And if you go back to when our parents were buying homes in the 90s or even in the 80s, their interest rates were much higher, right? It's all about perspective. So no, to answer your question, Mike, I did 100 plus units in 2008 2006. And I still had a Spiral Notepad.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It
Episode's over. You don't need a CRM. See you, folks.
Yeah,
No,
but
okay.
but you do, right? Because that was a different world. That was a different time.
Yes.
I mean, back then I could stop by a real estate office and guarantee at least 15 realtors would be in the office. Today, if I stop by a real estate office, there may be 5 if I'm lucky.
Do you feel like, because you're very connected to the industry right now, do you feel like LOs are using CRMs? Like, do you feel like the majority is using a CRM yet,
dude,
or no?
CRM is it's a buzzword.
Yeah.
CRMs, so national companies are going out and dropping hundreds of thousands of dollars,
To give.
if not millions of dollars on the CRMs.
Yeah.
Then they bitch, moan, complain that the CRM sucks.
Yeah.
No, the CRM doesn't suck. Your adoption of the CRM sucks.
Your process sucks.
Well,
Right?
look, I will coach any mortgage company out there how to do it the way that we did it. I had 100% LO adoption into our CRM.
Wow.
But, and I ran a $1 billion division that we built from the ground floor up. My company, Waterstone Mortgage, was not out recruiting LOs for Dustin Owen. Waterstone Mortgage was not signing big fat sign-on bonuses so David, Mike, and Dustin could build their division.
Yeah.
No, we built a culture that attracted people. And when we got them in, they didn't leave because we supported them.
Yeah. You had a honeypot.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why I coach and teach honeypots today.
Yep.
But it was because it was done for you. LOs love done for you. So I had 100% CRM adoption because it was all done for them. Now, if you wanted the done for you version, you got basically a C+ product. If you wanted to participate, you could get it to B+.
Yeah.
But if you wanted to learn how to drive this race car that we built you, you'd have A+, right? A+ results, A+ adoption.
Yep.
But no, most LOs don't even log into the CRM they have, let alone do they try to organize it. Like they don't realize this is a tool, right? And you have to sharpen that tool and you have to sharpen your skill set. I mean, you hand me a saw that is dull and I'm going to suck as a lumberjack, right? You give someone who is seasoned and professional and competes in those crazy lumberjack games a saw, even if it's dull, that person can get the job done.
Right.
Okay, but that person is going to actually know how to sharpen the blade, how to oil the blade, and now they're going to dominate. Where I'm just kind of stuck saying, I didn't know you could oil a blade, and I wouldn't even know where to start, how to sharpen a blade. Okay, well, a CRM is a tool, no different than a saw is a tool. It's the person using that tool, they too need to have experience and a skill set. Most people, originators specifically, don't have the patience or the experience or the confidence to actually open it up daily, spend 30 to 45 minutes working inside of it, or networking with others that are already experienced with CRM, right? So it's no different. I mean, you run a marketing agency, Mike, where your clients are companies like the companies I own and operate. And what would you say is their biggest issue when it comes to CRM?
Number one, adoption, right? And then using it correctly and having it integrate. So there's no one size fits all CRM. And I know we're, loan originators who we're speaking to today, but when you talk about home services, right? We're big in home services, and you talk about these other industries, there is no one size fits all CRM that integrates with every tool. I think Go High Level that we were talking about earlier is the closest I've ever seen.
Oh, you're excited about Go High Level.
I am, because it's the closest I've ever seen, because for example, let's say CRM A doesn't connect with Meta. So like you can't grab your Meta leads and push them into some sort of drip campaign. But it does integrate with MailChimp, right? So we can have those two tools engaging with each other and nurturing our leads, right? There's no one CRM that integrates and does everything that you need. But Go High Level it seems to be pretty close.
Yeah, but you know what? There's not one restaurant or one vacation or even one spouse that does everything that you need it to do at all times.
Right.
Right. So I think that's maybe learning lesson number one is understanding you're looking for the best CRM for you right now.
Mm-hmm.
Your borrowers, your buyers are looking for the best home loan that they qualify right now.
Yeah.
It might not be the best home loan in 2 or 3 years. Right. I think that's when you study my story of ACT to Surefire, Surefire to Jungo, Jungo to Candid. Right. There's a reason.
The grass was greener for the next CRM? Or is that kind of what?
The market moved.
Okay.
Our needs moved.
Yeah.
Our wish list changed.
Exactly. Yeah.
And if we outgrew what we currently had, then we went and found something that does everything that we need it to do, plus we wanted to do more.
Yeah.
And sometimes we chose something that had a certain feature, but we recognized that feature wasn't what we really needed or wanted. We weren't using it. We weren't getting the results. So then choosing that CRM was no longer advantageous.
And everything is everything at that time, if that makes sense. So like everything is everything before AI when AI didn't exist. Well, now we have AI, right?
Correct.
And that's everything.
Well, yes. And by the way, full disclosure for the audience, we are not sponsored by any one CRM, right? Like I'm a big fan of many CRMs. I'll shout them out. I'll talk about them, but no one's paying us to speak highly about their event. Now, if you're the Hope or Loan, we're going to talk you up. Like they're sponsoring.
I was going to say.
They are sponsoring the TLAP cruise in September.
Yeah.
Right? So like we're a big fan of what Michael Prado and his whole entire team over at AHA are doing with the Hope or Loan. And if you don't know what the Hope or Loan is, I'm going to want you and ask you to go to Google and Google HOPER loan. We're a huge fan of Vern Miles and everyone over at Milestone Mortgage Solutions.
Yeah.
Right? Like they are a first mate sponsor for the cruise coming up. I've met Vern. Shout out to Chris Parker at UWM for making that introduction. I had him on the podcast. He and I hit it off, and he's a sales leader that I would go work for. Right? Like if you hear me talking about Vern, sure, I respect him. I like him. He's also a sponsor of one of our big events. Vonk Digital. By the way, Anthony, I so apologize. I called it Vonk Media on the episode that we did on
AEO.
On AEO.
Yeah.
Yep, not SEO, but AEO. It's actually Vonk Digital. Anthony Balsamo is the CEO over there. But that's the company that when LOs and brokerages are looking for websites and need web development, I say check out Vonk Digital. Call Anthony. By the way, if you Googled Vonk Media, I'm not telling you to, but if you did, the good news is he does such a great job. He still is number one on his SEO rank. Or like when we talk about Gold Bar Staffing, like I learned of Gold Bar Staffing because a guy that we know and respect, PJ Crescenzo at Element Mortgage. Love PJ. Well, PJ uses Gold Bar, right? So when originators and real estate agents are looking for virtual assistants, and they're looking for a company to help them find those virtual assistants, train, onboard, hold accountable, then I'm like, yo, check out what JC is doing. Juan Carlos is his name. Gold Bar Staffing is his company. But full disclosure, like they are sponsors of our upcoming event. Shameless plug, we still have 2 major sponsorships available. I have one First Mate sponsor and we have one officer sponsor. First Mates and officers actually get a cabin on the cruise for the entire event.
Yeah.
Right?
That's big time.
Yeah. If you're a First Mate, you get a balcony with, and if you're an officer, you get an interior cabin as a part of your sponsorship.
Yes.
And we'll have plenty of cruise sponsorships. And that's for anyone that wants to be a part of the event, but maybe they can't attend.
Right.
So it's an easy, economical way for someone to slap their logo onto the cool, awesome shit that we're doing. So I want to throw that out there because people will say, oh, Dio, you always talk about Jungo or Adium or Total Expert or Candid. I'm like, y'all, these are just the names that I know that do a really good job. None of them yet have paid us to talk highly of them. And the good news is, if you know this about me, if I don't like you and I don't like your product, I won't take your money.
Right.
And I won't support it. But if I like you and I like your product, then yes, if you want to make sure you get featured and mentioned all the time, then engage with some kind of a sponsorship, whether it's our cruise that we're taking in September, or maybe it's just advertising on the show itself. What if one trip could elevate your personal brand for the entire year? On April 14th and 15th, Our friends over at First Home IQ are taking loan officers to Washington, D.C. for the MBA's National Advocacy Conference, which happens to be my favorite event of the year. But let's be clear, this is not about politics. This is about an opportunity for leadership and visibility. Only 1 in 8 next-gen buyers trust loan officers, and 6 out of every 10 feel the housing system is rigged against them. Building trust happens locally in how you show up, educate, and listen. But it only happens nationally when you show your market that you're on the Hill advocating for policies that protect them. Here's the game plan. Weeks before going to DC, you're going to be creating content. The content's going to be about why you're going, why affordability matters in your market, why first-time home buyers need better solutions. Now, when you're in DC, First Home IQ is going to be bringing in a professional video and social media team. You're going to walk away with video reels, behind-the-scenes content from Capitol Hill, direct-to-camera footage, content that positions you as a trusted housing leader in your state and local community. And here's the strategy. Most LOs talk about affordability. Very few show up on Capitol Hill to fight for it. When your referral partners see you advocating face-to-face with lawmakers, that signals leadership. Consumers trust individual professionals more than institutions. The mission is clear. This is a pivotal year for home affordability. It's a pivotal year for First Home IQ's mission, and it's the 250th birthday of America. We're aiming for LOs from every state advocating together for housing affordability and sustainable home ownership. You'll meet lawmakers. You'll learn how policy works. First Home IQ is going to give you the talking points. You'll know exactly what to say and why it matters. The visibility you create before, during, and after DC will reach your local market in a way no ad ever could. Washington needs more LOs in the room. Your state needs representation. Your borrowers need advocates. And your personal brand deserves elevation. This is a movement. This is your chance to sign up. Join hundreds of mortgage professionals. March on Capitol Hill. Go to Washington, D.C. Make sure your voice is heard, and here's how you do it. All you need to do is go to www.firsthomeiq.com/MBA advocacy. That is firsthomeiq.com/MBA ADVOCACY. So let me give you my perspective and my experience, really, like in my humble experience. This is what mortgage brokers and loan officers need their CRM to do.
Okay.
And Karina, this is probably going to answer your most basic questions. First and foremost, when a lead comes in, what are you doing to track that lead? Your CRM should be your first lead tracker. Mm-hmm. And then when you have a conversation, how are you taking notes? Your CRM should be where you keep your notes. Notes such as who referred them, what your last conversation was. Your CRM should also be where you schedule your follow-up. There is no set in stone, like follow up on the 3rd day, the 7th day, and the 13th day. No, I follow up based on what my last conversation was. If I left you a voicemail, I put the notes, LVM, I put the date, and I'm probably going to follow up with you tomorrow. If I talk to you and you said I'm going on vacation for 2 weeks out of the country, then I'm going to put you 2 weeks out. Okay, so in the very, very basic, that's what my CRM is doing. Now, if I want to take it up to the next notch, the next level, wouldn't it be great if my CRM had some kind of text message and email campaign? We call them drip campaigns, or like I know our friends at Total Expert call them journeys.
Yes.
But some kind of a journey that we took them on to where we could slide into their email box or slide into their text messages. And this is what you and I built out using the Lendware platform when we later gave it to Lower, and Lower is now executing it over at Lower Mortgage. But we wrote the copy. I didn't want a 28-year-old graphic designer with a copywriting background writing copy.
Right.
Love those people. They do an amazing job working at the marketing departments at our companies. They've never been a loan officer. They've never taken a loan application. They've never had to sit in front of a real estate agent in order to solicit them for a relationship.
And there's a psychology component behind copywriting too.
Yes,
that we want to be aware of.
And my copy is, and it can't be salesy.
Right.
It has to be educational. It has to be storytelling. It has to be, this was a pain, here's how we solved it.
Yeah.
Right? Or a did you know?
Yep.
Sometimes it can be just checking in.
Right.
Although I wouldn't say just checking in. I would say something like, have you given up on looking for a home, or are you still interested in leveraging real estate to build wealth?
Yep.
Right? Like, I'm
Yeah.
trying to get engagement is what I'm trying to do. Now, some of that is next level. In the very beginning, just having a drip campaign and having a journey where these things are going out automated on your behalf, huge. Now, you go next level, you start writing the copy using some Alex Hormozy, Gary V,
Offer
Dan
structures,
Martell,
yes.
Neil Dingra, like offer
Stop it.
structures.
Yes.
Yeah, like that's next level stuff. You want to go next level, it APIs with your LOS.
Yes.
What does API stand for, Mike?
You got me. Can you Google it? Advanced Protocol
I'm guessing
Interface.
Dustin knows. Do you know?
Shit. You think I know about technology?
Yeah, look that up real quick.
Karina,
That's
I
a great
barely know how
question.
to turn on my computer every day.
Let's see.
Like I purposely hired, shout out to Rebecca Johnson, my new chief of staff. One of the reasons why I hired her is because like her background was like cybersecurity.
Yeah.
And I thought she knows a thing or two about computers.
She's rocking it right now too.
She is crushing it, by
Yeah.
the way.
Stands for Application Programming Interface.
Okay. Basically,
Thank you.
how do I get one technology to speak to another technology?
Correct. You're translating, Chinese to German, or it's a translation tool. That's the concept of an API.
Yes. So if I start a new file in Arrive or start a new file in Encompass or one of the other LOSs out there,
Yep.
how does it automatically push it to my CRM and then trigger
Yeah.
my my marketing campaign, my 270-day drip campaign? And then one step further, what if I put in the referral source into my CRM? Because we have to, as loan originators, we have to put in the real estate agents at some point before we disclose the loan.
Correct.
As realtor contacts. Well, if I can put in my realtor contact early, how cool would it be if my marketing collateral also included my realtor's first name, last name, and contact information? And if I sent out a text, how cool would it be if that text went out to not just the home buyer, but also included the realtor?
Yeah.
Right. These are all things that at a minimum I'm doing in order to track my leads, market to my leads, as well as make sure that I am consistently following up with my leads. Because as a loan officer, we all work our butts off. We spend money, time, effort, energy to generate a lead, yet we don't spend the same time, effort, money, and energy to convert the lead.
Yeah.
So that's step one.
Touch points matter.
Yes.
Yep.
Steps 2 and 3, if I'm doing that for what I call a prospect, what am I doing for my in-process and my post-closing?
Yeah.
Well, without giving away all of our secret sauce, I will tell you this. In-process marketing is crucial to your ultimate success. It's the difference between good and great, average producer and top producer.
And that's because the customer journey, right? We're building the customer experience.
I want the customer experience. I want the listing agent experience. I want the buying agent experience. I want to live and breathe that I proactively communicate throughout the process.
Yeah.
So that everyone knows what's going on, but they have a great experience. If that buyer has a great experience, it's easy for me to get 2 current client referrals from them.
Yep.
If that listing agent has a great experience, it's way easier for me to get them to just sit down and meet with me. If that buying agent is less worried about this transaction because I'm proactively communicating with them and keeping them in the loop, all of a sudden they can go out and fish for more business. If they get more business, that means they have more opportunity to refer me.
Yeah.
Yes, it's crucial that I have text messages and emails going out. If you worked in one of my branches, we had it going out at 4 to 5 different milestones. And you and I wrote this. We
Yeah,
had
I
different
remember.
copy for the listing agent than we did for the buying agent, than we did for the actual borrower. But all of our copy always had an ask. It was an update with an ask to either meet with us at a future date or an ask to be referred.
Yes.
And then post-closing, like to me, the relationship starts when I fund your loan. Karina may have thought, hey, Dio, I thought the relationship started when you're like, the realtor gave me your name and number. I'm like, nah, like that was like the blind date, right? That was someone setting us up on a blind date. Maybe we were just like talking, then we kind of became friends with benefits, but like our relationship is actually consummated when you close on your transaction. That's when I become your lender for life.
Yep.
But if I'm going to say I'm your lender for life, I got to actually act it, right? It's kind of like I can't just like marry someone and then not show up for them. Like live with them,
Yeah.
share a household with them,
Yeah.
respect them, honor them. Yes, like we still got to go on date nights. We still got to like do all those things. Well, if my relationship's going to start, I need a CRM that helps me with that relationship. So for me, it's if I just closed your loan, I probably should have something that goes out that talks about your first payment.
Yep.
I need something that goes out that reminds you to file for homestead exemption. I need to celebrate your birthday, and I need to congratulate you on your 1-year mortgage anniversary, and then educate you that now is a great time for us to connect so I can conduct your annual mortgage review.
Yep.
And I tell people in my text and my emails that you might not even know that an annual mortgage review is a thing, but the loan I did for you was the best loan at the time that you qualified for, based on where you were in life, based on where you were in your career, and based on the market conditions. Well, life changes, careers change, and markets change. A 15-minute call is all we need to determine, is your current home loan still the best home loan? That's all I'm looking to do. What am I really doing with that? Yes, I'm trying to see if there's a better loan option for them, but I'm also trying to hear if they had any life changes.
Right.
Did they go through a divorce? Are they having a baby? Are they getting a job change? Are they looking to purchase an investment property or a vacation home because maybe their career is just absolutely taken off and they have more disposable income? Like, that's what I'm really looking to do. Celebrating their birthdays, right? Like, I do that because I care. I like when people recognize my birthday, right? So that's an easy way. Now, there's other things that you can do. You and I wrote ours, if you remember. I think we were going to celebrate gratitude in November. And I think we were going to do something to celebrate spring every year.
The equinox.
Yeah, because like the goal was this.
Yep.
If we can do an annual mortgage review, if we can do birthdays, if we can do gratitude in the fall and some kind of like spring themed message around the spring equinox, Easter time frame, we knew that there was at least 4 opportunities we were going to touch our database.
Yes.
Now we talk about newsletters. You talk about newsletters like MailChimp, Beehive, or now that we're moving
or native within the platform.
Yeah, like that's what we're doing at TLOP. We've been using MailChimp for the past 3 years for our newsletter.
Yeah.
By the way, if you don't get our newsletter, you're missing out. Go to our website, tloponline.com, click newsletter, fill out your information. It takes you less than 30 seconds to sign up. It'll take you less than 3 minutes to read it, and I promise you it doesn't suck. It's actually written by me.
Yep.
But we've been using MailChimp for that.
Yeah.
I've been telling the team I want it on Beehive. I think Beehive is better. Now, you know what MailChimp is better than? Outlook. You know what Outlook is better than? Not sending one at all.
I mean, MailChimp's strong for automations.
It is. MailChimp is.
If you're not doing native within your CRM.
Yeah, but you're now
Rabbit
telling me that we're moving to Go High Level,
Yeah.
which now we'll be able to possibly pull off of MailChimp.
Yes.
We'll be able to use Go High Level, which means TLOP gets to save money.
Correct.
And potentially increase the quality of the layout. Right? The content's not going to change, but the layout, the aesthetics may be a little bit better.
It's going to unify our customer journey.
Yes.
I mean, it's going to unify it under one platform with one single voice.
Yeah. So your CRM is also a place because look, you're storing data in there. You're storing your prospects.
Yep.
But now you're storing your past clients. You're storing your realtors. Your realtors need to be categorized. Platinum, gold, silver, and bronze. Right? What does platinum mean? Well, platinum, these are the agents that refer me consistently. We close deals consistently. Right? What is gold? Maybe it's quarterly. What is silver? Maybe it's once a year. Well, what is bronze? Bronze is we know them, they know us, but we're not really doing transactions together, getting consistent referrals. Then maybe you have one that is that's black. Like, well, what does black mean? Well, black means they're a target. So they don't know me, I don't know them, but I'm trying to get in front of them.
Yeah.
So then you can create messaging and tell your CRM, send this to all realtors, or maybe send this to just platinum, gold, and silver, depending on what it is.
Yeah.
Right? These are things that you can segment and you can do within your CRM. Also inside of it, Karina, why not, if you're getting started, you're newly licensed, why not put your friends, your family, your ex-coworkers, and all of your neighbors into your CRM and you call them your VIP, your top 100. So many of us as loan officers, we fail to do that step. And I coach this in my launch boot camps, but by failing to do so, we're missing out on our greatest opportunity to get the easiest and lowest hanging fruit.
Yes.
And we just don't treat our friends, family, ex-coworkers, and neighbors as if they're already clients. But by doing so, you will find that there's half a dozen transactions every single year that you're missing out on. And more importantly, by working that circle of influence, there are at least 20 or 30 realtors, home builders, or financial advisors that those people could refer you to that you're not being referred to because you haven't put the data into a house and then leverage that data for your benefit.
Yeah, it's a great organizational tool, right? And as you scale as an LO and you're funding more units, you have more transactions, it is very difficult to keep track of all of these touch points from all of these different lead sources or levels of leads, being in touch with your referral sources to stay top of mind. Like, you scale yourself into the CRM, which is why I was going to ask you, if I'm an LO, how do I know when it's time to start using a CRM? When is it time?
If you're a licensed originator who's closing loans, but you're not consistent, this is for you. If you're brand new or just looking for motivation, trust me, this is not for you. Most LOs don't need more information. They need structure. They need proven processes and somebody to hold them accountable. T-Lob's Originator Coaching gives you weekly live coaching, scripts top producers actually use, and step-by-step business systems you can implement immediately. Not someday, we're talking day one. You're not watching videos alone. You're executing in real time with other originators who take this seriously. Right now, you can try it free for 2 weeks. That's 2 full weeks for free. You'll sit in on live coaching calls. You'll get access to the frameworks and see exactly how top producers run their business. If it creates clarity, if it creates momentum, or even if it puts wins on the board, you keep going. If it doesn't, no worries, you can cancel. No pressure at all. Click the link, start the 2-week trial, and finally, build this like a business, not a side hustle.
When you have more relationships that you can manage on your Spiral notepad, when you have more leads that you can manage within your Excel spreadsheet, like in the very beginning, the men and women who have become members of T-Lob's Originator Coaching, like I have lead trackers on the platform. They're Excel spreadsheets. It's a great place to get started. Some people turn those Excel spreadsheets into Google Docs, and then eventually the Google Docs gets transferred into whatever CRM they're going to do. But I will tell you, when you have more referral sources than you can manage on a Spiral notepad, when you have more leads than you can manage just using a simple Google Doc, when you're ready to use automation, when you want something that'll API with your LOS, your loan origination software, most people use either Arrive or Encompass. There's, other CRMs out there, but, we'll start there.
Yeah.
But even like we coach men and women in the mortgage industry to do events as a great way to expand their referral network as well as stay top of mind.
Yeah.
Whether it's lunch and learns or happy hours or anything else you may think of like a mastermind, but you can literally create one email and then inside of your CRM, blast it to hundreds where the email gets sent. Hey, Karina. Hey, Mike. Right? It's specifically sent as an individual email. And that these are like real examples of how we're using it. Before we get into that, and we're not going to talk about today, but you can reach out to Dan over at Total Expert. You can reach out to Garrett over at Candid. You can reach out to Spencer over at Lendware, and they can tell you about how they're utilizing AI and data analytics to even get funkier and crazier. But I have a feeling if we did our job today, people's heads are spinning right now.
Yes.
They wish I would have slowed down and so they could have taken better notes. But the last thing that I would share is like inside of your CRM, you can be not only just sending your newsletter, but you can be sending invites to your events, makes it way easier to do events. Or think about this. We all should be creating quarterly video market updates.
Love that.
We're talking 3-minute videos.
Yeah.
You talking to your camera on your laptop and recording it, whether you're using BombBomb, Code Video, or any other service similar to that. And then you're embedding that video into an email and you're blasting that email to everybody in your database. That's prospects, that's past clients, that's realtors, that's your top 100 VIP, where all you're doing is simply saying, hey, and like this time of year is perfect for it. Hey, Q1 2026 is in the books. Wow, does time fly? Right? Reference something going on with current events. Try not to be overly political. So I would talk about sports typically, or weather patterns. But I would then say, this is what happened in Q1. Was it good? Was it bad? Or was it indifferent? This is what we anticipate happening in Q2. Is that good? Is that bad? Is that indifferent? And why? Very surface level, 4th grade level. And then I show some gratitude. Thank you, everyone. We helped this many families. I'm so appreciative of you. Then I'd have my call to action. Please know you're never bothering me when you reach out with a question, right? That's what I'm here for. My desire is to be your lender for life, your source of information, somebody who is in the community like you that you can turn to in a time of need, right?
Yes.
Like, please reach out. Here's how you get a hold of me. Well, I create one video, then I go into my CRM and I can blast it out. The problem is if I don't have a CRM, if I'm not using the CRM, I can't do that.
Right.
And these are low hanging fruit. It takes you less than 20 minutes, 30 minutes max to create and craft that 3-minute video. It would take you another 12 minutes to actually send it to your CRM. But you got to first have the CRM. You have to have the CRM loaded with data. You have to build out your CRM, and then you have to do things like, it's going to shock you, Mike, log in daily.
You know what I would do? I would take it to the next level. I'd actually go live with my market update quarterly. Anytime you go live, there's going to be a notification on all your followers' iPhone screen. They log in, then save the video, then put it into the blast.
Wow. Look at that.
That's efficient.
But that is some next level shit. And I'm sure when you're trying to be AEO,
yes,
right, which is answer engine optimized.
Nailed it.
That's some next level stuff that y'all can do. So, I'm happy that we sat down and did this. I get fiery and I get passionate because my signature story, we built something from 40,000 a year to 40,000, from 40 million in our first year to 40 million a month to $1 billion division. I said it earlier. I didn't work for a company that was throwing money around. I didn't work for a company that had a robust recruiting department that was putting opportunities in front of me.
No, you got scrappy.
And I was still doing loans and my partners were doing loans. So we didn't have a chance to hit the recruiting trail and smile and dial. But we built a system that was done for LOs that when they got to work with us, they got that. And that was enough to attract them in and to keep them with us. Some are still there 15, 16 years later, right? I've left the institution. My partner Mike has left an institution. My partner David is retiring, and we still got branches and LOs there because the system hasn't left. And then my last bonus, spend the money, hire an expert, and have him or her be the lead admin to your system. If you're a leader,
facts, you
want to know why I was able to do things and I would share all of my ideas and nobody would do them. It's because I took it one step further. I call him a marketing concierge, right? This person is it's like a sales assistant, but only when it comes to the CRM.
Yeah, nice.
But I had someone who built, maintained, and marketed to the CRM. Now, this person didn't write copy. This person didn't draft the campaigns. This person has never closed a loan, has never talked to a realtor about building a relationship and referring business. But this person was one of the best people I've ever met at executing.
Yeah.
You could ask her to do something. It got done immediately. And 99 times out of 100, it got done at a high quality.
Where do we find this unicorn?
Yeah. They're out there. They're out there.
Yeah.
But what she was great at was executing someone else's idea.
Yeah.
So it was on my partners and I to come up with the idea. We had the experience. We were the top producers.
Yep.
But once we were able to write it out onto a whiteboard or onto just a legal sheet of paper, then she could behind the scenes start doing it. But I'll tell people, for $60,000, $70,000 a year, you can have that person who could potentially manage 8 to 12 branches, 60 to 100
return.
LOs.
Yep.
You start breaking that down into basis points. We're talking about 3 to 5 basis points.
Yeah.
That's a small cost for what value it brings, not just to the originators, but to the future originators who may want to come work at your institution. So that's probably the maximum time we have on this topic.
Yeah.
Look, if people have questions, one thing I can tell you is, having Mike in my ecosystem as my business partner. I didn't have Mike up until 2026 at the level that we have him today. We plan on opening ourselves up to entire companies, branches, and originators to be able to offer some of this that I always did behind the scenes so that we can find a way to do the done for you. Right now, we're not ready. I think by Q3, Q4, we will be ready. But what we can do now is we are available for consultations. If you're a large company or you run a large region and you would like to have a team come in and build this out for you, for the right investment, I think we can make it worth your time and ours. It's not something we're currently offering, but it's something that we'll make ourselves available to.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
Cool. Anything we missed out on, Mike?
No, I mean, comprehensive CRM, getting plugged in when you're ready. That's the most important piece. So
Cool. Karina, you good?
I'm good.
Did you learn a thing or two?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, you ready to go run your own
sure,
business?
What does CRM stand for?
Client relation management. Relations, right? Was
Yeah,
it
it's close enough.
relationship?
Close enough.
Solid.
Wait,
Customer
what is it?
relationship manager?
Oh, manager.
Relations,
Management.
relationships.
We're all on the
Management.
same page.
Tomato,
though.
It's like are we in a relationship? I don't know, but we're doing relations. Like that's the first step.
right.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know, but yeah,
was
CRM
close.
is a
Good
great
job.
place for you to
Thanks.
store your data and market to your data. And your data tends to be people who either will do business with you or people who can refer you people to do business with you. That's what we're really looking to do. Hey, y'all, thanks so much for coming to hang out with us over here at the Loan Officer Podcast. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple or any other place you go to listen to podcasts, I have 2 requests. The first, if you like episodes like this, give us a 5-star review. It tells the algorithm that this content doesn't suck so more people can find it. Second, you're missing out because we have a ton more content on YouTube. Make sure you go to our YouTube channel and you also subscribe there. Not only can you watch the podcast, but it's where you can access over 400 additional videos, whether they're sales trainings or they're coaching content that I know that you will definitely enjoy. If you're tuned in on YouTube, thank you so much. Make sure you click subscribe and use the comment section. We love to have fun in the comments. Even if you choose to troll, you'll probably get a response from me. Make sure you signed up for the newsletter. And most importantly, don't try to go at this by yourself. If you're looking for sales training or business coaching, we do own and operate the number 1 value in business coaching for the mortgage industry. It's called TLOP's Originator Coaching. You can check out all the information you need by going to our website, tloponline.com. Connect with me on social. I'm Dustin Owen on LinkedIn. I'm at the Loan Officer Podcast on Instagram. And finally, if you're down for cool-ass events, you should check out what we're doing at the end of this summer. In September, it's a Caribbean takeover. We're calling it TLOP Unite. It's a 100-person event specifically for the mortgage industry. That information can also be found on our website. She's Special K, a.k.a. Karina. He's Mikey, Rocky, Vinny, Marketing Mike, my friend, my business partner, Mike Siciliano. I'm Dustin Owen. You've just tuned in to Loan Officer Podcast. That's all the time we have for you today, but we look forward to catching you on the next episode. Peace.